Lads, lassies, welcome back to the YouTube. And today, welcome to a podcast with my good friend John Dreiling. He's quite an intelligent guy. He's an insane wakeboarder. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I cannot recommend it enough because he just puts up clips literally every day and they blow your mind. And he's also just starting a YouTube channel, taking a bit of a crack at that as well. So anyway, this podcast, just catching up with him, seeing what he's up to and just kind of having some chats. I hope you enjoy and thank you for watching. All right, John, how's things?
I mean, considering the circumstances, it's really good. Obviously, we should be on the road right now, traveling, going to a bunch of cable parks, doing a bunch of sick stuff. I think that was starting today with you.
Yeah, I just realized we're supposed to start on the 14th. I think you were with the Peacocks this week, and then I was supposed to come in. You were doing 2 weeks back to back, were you?
Yeah, so that was just kind of like I just realized it today as you're calling. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so I actually had to cancel my flight yesterday for that because I was literally supposed to fly out in 2 days, and then we would have been wakeboarding, skydiving, doing loads of fun stuff. But instead, we're staying at home.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I guess, right? Like, just trying to make the most of it in this time. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're just gonna just jump right in, but basically, I got a dog the other day, so
No way, really?
Yeah, so it did work out because I have this little puppy now, and it's easier to train him and do all of that stuff. It would have been crazy to try to, I have more time now. I'm not on the road, and it's not all on my wife.
How is that going to work, though, when you're on the road? Like, I would love one, but I definitely just travel too much.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Obviously, my sister lives 10 minutes away from me, and she loves animals and stuff, and she has 2 dogs. So we have that. Wayne actually is always down to watch. He got a dog as well, actually.
No way, really.
So we basically are like, hey, when you need it, I'll watch your dog, and vice versa. And for those of you guys that don't know, and the road trip we're talking about is the Ultimate Wakeboard Road Trip, and Wayne is the guy who runs that. So just some background, I guess.
Yeah, out of context, I suppose that's pretty confusing. How did you go about getting the dog? Is it like a rescue, or did you purchase it, or what?
No, my wife, her parents have 2 dogs like this, and the first one just was kind of like someone couldn't take care of it, and they took it in, and then they got another one for it to hang out with, and we've just been going over there, and my wife just kind of fell in love with these dogs, and she works from home now, so as of last October, so when I'm gone, for sure she's really lonely because she's just at home all day, and even when I'm not gone, she's still at home all the time, and I still go out and wakeboard, and so it's just nice to have someone for her to just hang out with and be have a companion, I guess.
And if she works from home, can she travel with you more now?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. She can basically go anywhere. That was so she left her company and planned to start her own consulting company. And
in marketing, isn't it?
Working for what?
She works in marketing, doesn't she?
Yeah, so she does marketing for basically amusement park, theme park style entertainment. And she left the Orlando Eye, which is, the London Eye, I guess, but here it's different now. They own a bunch of restaurants and stuff on the property. I mean, you've been, I'm pretty sure, so you know what it's like. But she left that and started her own. Basically started doing consulting for clients because she wanted to travel. And then a company that she used to work with, they used to hire, that's a consulting company, called her up and was like, hey, we heard you trying to do this. We need someone. And just basically told her, yeah, they all work from home, which is pretty cool, the whole company. So it's not a weird thing for her to be the one at home or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, they built her an office. They basically gave her everything she needed. And now it's consistent income, which is amazing because they basically said you can work anywhere and travel anywhere as long as you get your work done. However, after she got the job, she was supposed to come to Thailand with me, and they were not as about it when I went in January. And so now we're still kind of figuring it out. But as far as America goes, she doesn't need to ask. And as far as Europe goes, I think as long as she asks, it's pretty okay. It's just if it goes past Europe, I think the time change will get trickier. So we have to
Yeah, true. Very, very true. And even I guess it's a bit yourself with uploading videos, if the Wi-Fi is not as consistent in Asia generally, Consistent is maybe even a nice term. Like when I was in Philippines last year, I couldn't even have like a WhatsApp call or FaceTime. Like the internet is so bad, which made
That's
like it was like
that was
uploading a YouTube video took like, sorry, there's a tiny delay here, but yeah, uploading a YouTube video would take like a full day. You just like, it was so annoying.
Yeah, that's basically how the concern they had as well was like, oh yeah, if you're going to Thailand, like how's the internet going to be? And it was also like 2 months after she started working there. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that as things go on, she won't need to talk to them and communicate with them as much during the days, because she'll have better grip,
Grasp
sorry,
of the, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
no,
on
no,
what
no, yeah.
she's doing. And
Yeah.
so like right now, she's still kind of learning the company, so, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's been incredible that worked out how it did.
Yeah. And what about you? Because you're not like, I'd like not to discredit any wakeboarders out there, but including myself, let's say you're far more educated than your average wakeboarder. Because I'd say a huge amount haven't finished school, and then not many have gone to college, and then you've gone the whole way to getting a master's and everything. And how does that work now, being like choosing the path you chose now versus kind of probably what you expected to go down?
Yeah, it all kind of changed like early on, where like the path I expected my whole life changed when wakeboarding just kind of like not even being a pro as much as just like falling in love with it. Like I was late to ride and to start being a wakeboarder or whatever, Like I had grew up on the lake and I had known how to ski and different things, but the first time I really started getting into wakeboarding, I was like 16. So I had already obviously had college like planned out in my head and where I wanted to go, at least some idea. And it was not in Florida. So I was going to go up to Boston and just do school up there. And I changed plans like a year after wakeboarding just because I loved it so much and I just want to keep wakeboarding. Like it wasn't even about like trying to be pro at the time. It was just like I
Yeah.
wanted to ride every day.
One of the really interesting conversations I've had with you before, and like I'm very hazy on it, but it was like, so obviously in America, like university in general is like preposterously expensive to go to. Like to put it in perspective, we pay I think $2,500 admin fee to enter university in Ireland, and then it's covered for by the government. And this is like the best university you can go to, like unlimited. It's not unlimited, so you can do one degree. You have to pay if you want to do a second degree, but that's fair enough. But so for us, and then obviously I wanted to, and I did do a year of university, but then wakeboarding, but like the option to do it in the States wasn't there because it's like 50 grand a year. But if I'm not mistaken, like you didn't just you got a scholarship, but you also kind of end up getting like paid to go to college or something, did you? Because you're
Yeah, so
ridiculously, insanely intelligent.
yeah, it kind of worked out crazy. I basically wanted to go to a school that was $50,000 in Boston. That was one of the top schools, like an Ivy League school. I don't know how familiar you guys are with our college culture or whatever, but one of the most well-known schools. And I basically had the tests and grades to get in, but did not have the money really, I guess, to go there. And didn't get like a crazy scholarship there. I don't even know how common that is in general. Like, but down here at UCF, I already had, so I finished high school and I kind of already had 2 years done of university, and it wouldn't count there. There's so many factors, but basically ended up getting a full ride from the university and then from external companies, I guess. I also got like a full ride. So I basically got a check every month to go to school, which was kind of crazy to think about it. It was like being a professional student, I guess. And so that obviously like was, I probably would have finished school anyways, but that was even more of a motivator to just like get good grades. And I had to keep grades up to a certain point to keep the money, I guess. But yeah, it was crazy, and it actually is what allowed me to go travel to events, because I basically I lived on campus for a year, did the whole college thing, but when I wanted to take wakeboarding more serious, I moved back home and used all the money I was getting, since I'm living at home, instead of like paying rent or paying for my expenses and stuff. I just used that money to travel to events and try to like make a name for myself, if you will.
Yeah.
Like social media wasn't what it is today, I guess. So.
And like, do you reckon it helped you as well, like with because a huge amount of being a professional wakeboarder nowadays, and it's not even a huge amount, I would say, like being a pro wakeboarder, unless you are like And to be fair, you are that, but like unless you're in that top like 1% of the pros, like people like Corey or Harley on the boat, and then the cable, like people like you or Daniel Grant, unless you're in that top 1%, it's like 80% bit like business, working and like dealing with sponsors, all that stuff. And it's only actually like your riding like is nearly irrelevant once, like you obviously get in there because of your riding, but then once you're in there, continuing building the whole thing is the business. And do you reckon having that degree, or what exactly was your degree in even?
Well, my undergrad was in physics. I want to be a theoretical physicist and just basically do research and like, I guess you could think like Albert Einstein style, like just theoretical number stuff, not as much like experimental, I guess. And then I decided that I was like, yeah, not super interested in that anymore. And I got my master's in business. And then the plan was to be like a sales engineer just because I'm like to be around people more and more extroverted. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, when I realized what that meant, I was like, I just didn't want to be in an office all day. And I thought like I could, work at somewhere like Lockheed Martin, which is like a private company, but they build a lot of like different things like technology for the government and sort of thing. But you would be like a sales engineer where I'd either like lead a team of engineers because I know the physics, and then like you have to really focus on like cutting costs and making the product business wise good, not you can just build an expensive amazing thing, or like help sell the product and be able to understand both sides of the sales and the product. So that's what I studied. The business side for sure helps all of it helps the wakeboarding, to be honest. Like I still kind of like
physics of the rails.
Yeah, but I mean it's helped my career on the back end a little more than people realize, as I don't live just strictly off sponsors writing a check, and I don't know that like it really, on the cable side at least, is what people think it is anymore. Like I feel like you can make a living off of wakeboarding, but it's not like just riding, like, and as an athlete you do way more than ride, and you have to have a skill set that you use that adds value to the company nowadays.
And that's what I meant by like the 80%, like 20% is the physical act of wakeboarding and like doing stuff. But then like you've got, and like you're really good at this as well, or like someone like JB or anyone like filming as well, like going out and doing that. Like that's obviously like you have to have some sort of, and again, it can be minimal knowledge, but you have to be able to put content out there on Instagram and every platform, I suppose. But yeah, there's so many more skills than just wakeboarding now, which I think's really cool. It's kind of making it more difficult, but also if you're willing to kind of be open-minded, it's making the whole thing insane, actually. Like if you're good, you can be good.
I was going to say, it's not just like who can go win the contest, which is what like sports and even action sports a long time ago used to be. It was just like who can go win this contest, and that's the way to make it. Like do these tricks, check them off the list. And thankfully like media adapt to things, and it could be like you could film or you could do contest or whatever, And now the doors are kind of really open, and part of it might be just because the industry's small, but there is opportunity like to say, what am I good at and what can I give to a company, and like do it the way you want to do it, I guess. But yeah, to answer your question, going back a little bit, since I realized I never got to the answer, like it does help me a lot in a sense of like I do sales for companies all the way through, not just like, oh, let me hook up this guy with the sale, but like I can go and write the invoice and do the whole relationship and do sales for some companies. Some I'm sponsored by and some I'm not. It's just like strictly a sales job, but it's helped a lot, and it's commission only. So I kind of get to do my own thing, I guess. And like when I make sales, I get money, but I have the freedom as well. Thankfully, being a wakeboard company, they understand, and then it definitely has helped, like being able to go to a boat show. I think that maybe I provide a little more value than someone else. Not strictly because of my education, but like that did help me learn how to do sales, and that just the skill set of being able to sell stuff helps, my value. Like not everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. And like, and even like the thing, one of the biggest questions like that I often get is like, why did you start making YouTube videos? And for me, like, honestly, it wasn't like I'm going to make YouTube videos, like, but there was no like, there's a gap in the market, I'm going to do this. It was a combination of timing of like getting a camera right around the same time, but also just being bored. Like, because wakeboarding, there's only so much of it, and it's even better on the cable because you can ride more cable. At the time, I didn't ride any cable. Like I might go once a week or something, but I was riding boat. But at most, you can spend like 2 hours on a boat a day. Maybe like if there's a few of you, you're riding the boat for 4 hours. There's a lot of free hours left in the day to do other things. And at that point, like that's what I started because I was literally just twiddling my thumbs. I was living in Winter Haven, I think, at the time. And I had a good crew and we were doing fun stuff, and then we just started filming it. And that's kind of, by the sounds of it, like you've got more time and you're just kind of using your time right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, obviously I haven't stepped into the YouTube yet, although
you've been talking about it.
Actually, yeah, we can just have a little update on it. I was like, should I say anything on here? And then
do it.
I'm not.
It'll hold you accountable because you've been talking about this for like at least a year now. You need to bite the bullet.
I have. I'm just. Yeah, I'll get to it. I have videos uploaded on private, and I'm gonna like slowly make them public. So there has been made. I personally, I'll just talk about it now since we're here.
Go.
I personally like with the dog and just like I wanted to make sure that. Before I added more onto my plate, I already had so much like wakeboarding and what I was doing. I wanted to do that well and not like take away from that. But also I wanted to just make sure like that I had things taken care of with my family and the dog and my wife was good and stuff before I got like too in over my head and was like juggling too much.
Because it's demanding as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have as much of a schedule as like maybe I was traveling a lot more. And I just wanted to like get a little bit ahead to have a buffer because, like I don't want my wife to feel like I just all I care about, all I focus my time and energy on is wakeboarding. And like, if there's times when I don't know, like I want to be a good, husband and family member, I guess. So like, I want to get ahead. So I had that buffer so I could still stay kind of consistent and like on a schedule. But just like for me, that's kind of how I like to do things. So yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what type of videos should we be expecting? Because obviously, with a bit of background, like your Insta clips are just ridiculous. Like you're known as like the sender or whatever. Like everything's, but it's also quite tech. So like you're one of the few people, let's say, who's taking advantage of social media. Like I'll stand here and openly admit, like I'm by no means the best writer, but I'm good with social media and like putting the clips out there and stuff. But your clips and doing that, or the tricks and the content of the content, for want of a better phrase, is really high level. So you're going to sustain that on YouTube, or are you going to bring other people into the equation, or how's it going to go?
Okay, so I've actually been making this like master plan that is loose because we all know things change so much or whatever, and especially in this industry. But my Instagram, I want to keep going. I basically post for about the last like year and a half. I've basically been posting like Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock. And it's been good. And sometimes, it goes through waves like all the analytics and stuff. Like sometimes it's better than others. But for me, it's a lot of like, I just love filming. Like I went through and realized like all my old videos used to film a video a month in 2014 and 2015 in the summer. So I made like 12 or more videos in those 2 years, like edit. And some were bigger projects maybe than others, but they were just really pushed my writing and what I love to do. And so I kind of like just transition that over onto Instagram. And it really pushes me knowing like I don't want to just post the same trick again or something. I want to keep that quality high, but like it puts that internal pressure on myself to like go out and try something new or get creative, or that it honestly helps my writing more, and it feels good to like land something. It's like a little achievement every day, I guess. If it's not a new trick, it's like doing a trick the way I wanted it to be done on that rail for sure. So like Instagram, that to me is just like a core thing. It's not even like I guess there's two sides of it. There's like I always was big in YouTube and all of that growing up, like super big in consuming the content, getting influenced and inspired by that sort of thing, and like Nitro Circus or whatever. So like there's that side of it where like I want to just put out the whole point of the content at that time was like kids are in school. I want to get them hyped up to go to the cable park after school and like that sort of thing. Cause I always like would watch videos right before. And then the other side of it is like it really just keeps wakeboarding fun for me, honestly, and like it pushes me harder and I enjoy it more, and it keeps things fresh and fun for me. So I kind of like try to find that balance, I guess. So I'm gonna keep doing that because a lot of it's for me. But on the YouTube, it'll probably become more of just like I guess more core, if you could say.
Yeah, just raw,
Uh,
like raw, and like just
just
the tricks that your peers would be like, damn, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, and things that like I love, that like the way I want to ride and the way I want to represent riding and that sort of thing. And I've definitely been sucked in over the years, becoming like, I guess, like, for those also who don't know, I more so like I had a really good actually I was super happy with how I used to ride in contests, like really good results in 2014, 2015, 2016 in pro or whatever in cable, but it never really resulted in sponsors for me.
Yeah.
And it did. I had these sponsors here and there, like that I got a little bit of money, but it didn't like build my career. And I guess where I've seen more growth was actually through the Instagram. Not necessarily like intentionally, but it's cool because actually I enjoy that maybe more. I love going to contests to see my friends, and I'm competitive, but um, it allows me to kind of ride the way I want to ride, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna. Man, I don't even know where my train is. Oh, yeah, I was trying to say, like, I kind of made a name per se through Instagram, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, completely. A lot of the clips, because it was like you said, it's Monday through Friday, and it's just like boom, another hammer, boom, another hammer, and it was like that it's been like that for probably, like you said, like a year and a half now. So it's obviously, but I mean, you built a name before then for sure, but I definitely think in the last year and a half or so, things have probably got escalated a little bit, maybe. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
definitely. I think that my value has been more to my
Yeah,
sponsors in the social. But anyways, I've got sucked into that because the pressure of the sponsors and like trying to make the numbers so that they're happy, or I can get the sponsors to like keep doing it, I guess. Because for sure it took an investment of, I wasn't really getting much out of it, what I was putting in.
yeah,
Aside from, again, on a personal level, it's what pushes me. The reason those bangers come is because I like feel that like I want to do something again, like for the it's just more motivating for me, I guess, to get it
yeah.
on camera. And then I felt
YouTube.
that pressure, so I've done some things on Instagram, like that maybe just posted because I felt like I had to post, because it's like, oh, I don't have a post today, so I'll just post what I
Yeah,
got, you know? So I definitely want to like focus a little more on Instagram, being like what I want to see, what I like, and how I want to represent the sport, I guess. And then on YouTube, I guess the plan right now is
you're so
to,
scared to say it. I'm gonna hold
you
this.
know
I'm
what
gonna
it
clip
is?
this out.
You know what it is that like it's a big commitment,
Yeah,
and I guess like I'm hesitant to commit, I guess, but I'm like there already. But anyways,
yeah.
um, yeah, I'm fine to share it. So first, I'm gonna be posting my old edits because they've actually been taken down by other accounts. Like they were up on my old filmers accounts who got like out of wakeboarding as a career, and they kind of like put their videos on private. They were like, we're old and not their best quality work, you know.
Yeah.
And so I got all those videos, and I've been collecting those videos, and I'm gonna release one a week for the next like couple months throughout the summer, basically, just to have them up online so people can see them. And some of them I'm not like, it's not my best work, obviously, but it's just like memories, and I hope people can see it and relate almost, and be like, see the process I
The
went through to
progress.
get to where
Yeah.
I was, and I hope like if people are interested in it, that's cool, and if they're not, like I want them up
Yeah.
anyway, so like we'll just do that. And then I kind of have two things I want to kind of be going on at the same time. And one we've talked about a lot, and it's, I guess, one I'm excited about, but the one I'm more hesitant about because it's a big commitment, and it's called the Wakeboarding Bible. I don't know if I told you the name of it, but
No, I
it's a
think it rings a
tutorial.
bell there. Yeah.
It's a tutorial series, and it came from a couple things, but I asked a lot of people what they wanted to see when I broke my hand in Thailand in January. And I wasn't sure because there's a lot of tutorial stuff out online, but people really want to see tutorials
Yeah. There's
specifically.
always room for more. Always.
And I, growing up, I did ride boat a little bit after when I was 15 and stuff. And I watched a video series called The Book. And I don't know if you're familiar with The Book.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, of course.
So it's on
Yeah.
YouTube for those of you who want to see it.
Is it?
They actually upload it on YouTube. It's like 10 hours of footage, and it goes through everything you can think of at the time that was done on boat and how to do it, up to like a 900 maybe. And it was so cool to see that, and it was systematic, and it was easy to follow, and every video was similar. So my plan is kind of like spin off of that. And the name kind of comes from like when I was in Bali, they had like the Bali Bible, which was like everything you can know about Bali, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like the book and the Bible, like mixing them together and making like what I'm calling the Wakeboard Bible. And it's going to be series going over everything in wakeboarding.
From square one to is it going to be in order?
Chapter 1's an introduction. I'm starting there. And I think it's actually the most important thing, the grassroots side of it. And it's going to go from like, what is a cable park compared to boat and that sort of thing, and a 2.0. And what you need to bring and expect the first time you go to a cable. So like how to get up and all the way through hitting your first feature, making a lap, hitting your first feature. There's going to be like 13 or so videos in this like introduction chapter. And then it's going to go through basically 3 chapters, 3 parts. Each part has 3 chapters. So like chapter 1's introduction, then part 1 is going to be like kickers. It's going to be like 2 through 4 of the chapters are going to be beginner, intermediate, and advanced kicker tricks. And we're going to start at the beginner, obviously, and kind of go through. And then there's going to be a part of rails and a part of air tricks. So I'm hoping to kind of hit everything. And the plan is to get other riders involved once it gets going, especially guys who are really good at air tricks, as that's not my forte.
I was about to ask, are you going to be banging out some air tricks?
But
I've seen you do many.
I am learning them. Yeah, and I've been learning more, actually. And I've just gotten really into all aspects. But
mark my words here. There is 2 things. Number 1, air tricks are coming back without a doubt. Okay, and the number of core people who are listening to me and are going to say he's an idiot. What? He's the biggest kook ever. Well, I promise you, I'm correct there. Maybe it's not for the next 4 to 5 years, but it's coming back because they're already starting to climb back into the place. Like Raf Trinidad does them, and they're insane. Like I love seeing them when it's
I love it. It makes me want to do air tricks for sure.
Exactly. So that's number 1. And the second thing is there is a huge gap in the market for because the wakeboarding's so small, and there tends to be someone who you've gone all out and like your brand, like we were talking about a minute ago, is being tech on the rails, going huge on doing big gaps and stuff, and you've really taken that space within wakeboarding. Then you go to the flip side, and you've got your core boat riders or whatever. Then you've got your core filmers, and then the area I went into, the JBs now in as well. The Peacock, the Peacock Brothers is different again, but it's the social media stuff. There is space for someone to absolutely kill it on air tricks, and all they do is air tricks, and they just upload videos. I promise you, if someone does that, because people at home love seeing air tricks, it's sick. It's so much more spectacular, I think.
I think that Raf Trinidad's gonna take that spot once he figures out what does good for him, and he has the most some of the best looking air tricks, and he does them proper and makes them look good. I think that, but I think the same thing, and I think that if we're gonna get back on TV or get in the Olympics, realistically, I don't have time to get into all of why, but air tricks are gonna be a part of it.
100%.
And that's gonna be what people see, and that's also what's gonna be what people remember probably the most about it. That and maybe some cooler rewind stuff, I think is really separates us from other sports. And it's a really good marketing opportunity, and us as wakeboarders, I think, can do our part to make them look good and go the direction we want, but to just throw them away, it's we're kind of missing a bunch of people.
It's so foolish. It does annoy me. And by the way, when we do mini contests in Ireland or whatever, and I compete in Ireland a little bit on the cable, and as soon as they start talking about air tricks, I'm no, we don't want air tricks in it. I don't like doing them, or I'm not very good at them. It's the weakest point of my riding. So I'm not exactly loving it, but I do think it's the right thing, and I think it's definitely going to be the way it's going to go for a lot of it. And a lot of people won't like to hear that, but it's definitely true.
Well, I never learned them growing up because I grew up in the era of America American wakeboarding, where we were anti-air tricks. All the boat riders were getting into cable because cable was growing, and they were not about air tricks. And I'm not going to get into it. I see both sides, and I think there's that argument of they don't look good, but I guess I have the belief that like you can make every trick look good. Some are just harder
Remember
to make.
Nick Davies used to bang them out, and Lewis Sofer, like all those guys used to do air tricks. Like Nick in particular, like you could watch him all day long, particularly when he starts making it like super fun, doing like 3 Bel Airs in a row, or like pre-10, or he's actually got the world record for that, I think. But yeah, like
I think I did 14 in person at OWC once, down the street. And he used to come here a lot. He loved OWC, so
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, they're coming back. It's inevitable, and whether you want to do them or not, I don't think you have to do them, because we're in the point where I think so many people can make their way looking at like what they like to do and what they're good at, and just kind of like combine them and make it work in wakeboarding, because we with everything, social media and just technology, and you don't have to travel ever, you could just do everything at home, or you could travel a bunch. So it's kind of like, it's cool that some people don't have to do air tricks, but like for sure they will be coming back in a contest side of things, in an Olympic side of things. And I don't think it's the worst thing for the sport. I just think we need to do our part in making things look good, and put effort into them. But yeah, so I will be going over them, and I will be getting guys to help go over the air tricks. And I'm super excited about this project, because to me it's like, for sure, I actually don't think that, well, I guess there's ways you could do it to like make a lot of money doing tutorials on YouTube or whatever, and like sell these packets or these DVDs like, the book used to do. But ultimately for me, it's more about, I just want videos that people can watch every week or every weekend and go learn a new trick. And I'm hoping I can help people's progression, because I think a lot of people get into cable and get out really quickly. They'll ride for a year or something. And I'm hoping this helps more people get involved and retain people in the sport, and help people progress.
Well, they'll know the progression chain, because they'll know what's next. And the thing is, you mentioned there about the money side of things, and I mean the reality is, like, you're right not to worry, like to charge, like it's I don't know. I personally, like, I used to do online coaching. Now I do it all free on Instagram, because I just like, it actually comes back around a different way. So like, first of all, you're putting out these videos, you're going to make YouTube revenue. Like, it's going to be so minimal at times, but like after a while, like some of those videos, like if you do like how to hit a kicker, that video is probably going to get 500,000 views after a few years. Like 500,000 views in YouTube money is roughly, I'm going to say like $1,500 to $2,000. So you're going to make that off making that video, probably. And that's going to happen across loads of videos. So that's number one. But the second thing is the value for sponsors. Like, they are going to absolutely eat that up, because the number of people who, and this is why I've like continued doing tutorials as well, is because the number of people who watch it, they don't just watch it once, they watch it 10 times over. And then they're down there at the cable, and then they're like, oh, I watched this guy, John. He's got really long hair and a beard, and he gave me the tutorial on this. And it really, really works so well. And then you become way more valuable to sponsors. So it comes back around, and it'll do really, really well, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. And for sure, actually, thankfully, this is a huge time commitment, obviously. It's going to be hundreds of videos, I imagine, by the end of it. But thankfully, I have had some support, and Marine Products specifically, I don't know if you saw, I posted about them. They're just an online shop and an in-person shop that sells boats and wakeboards and wake skates. And they actually have, come on, like, we kind of worked out a deal around this, and they love the idea and they're supportive of it, and they're helping me make it happen. So for sure, like, there's shout out to them, and like that. And again, like, it's cool just because it's a passion project I want to do, because it's something I learned how to do everything off YouTube. And I know I've heard your story too. You did too growing up.
Yeah.
I use YouTube more than Google, and my wife is so annoyed because I'm like, just YouTube it, and she's like, it's just Google it or something. Like, she doesn't
but it is. I YouTube it too. It's so much nicer to watch.
Yeah, she doesn't like YouTube as like, she's just not a visual learner, I guess. I think a lot of wakeboarders are. So I'm excited to do this project, and hopefully it'll get people, just even if it's a couple hundred people who can just like watch and go through these things. And that's why I'm starting at the beginning, so that hopefully they can, like, it keeps them in the sport. I think that the videos hopefully will come out quicker than they're learning. And the people who start at the beginning, hopefully it'll keep them around. And I'm just looking forward to, seeing someone progress using those videos, and hopefully it grows the sport. And then the other side of things is on Mondays. So the plan is to post those every Friday. I'm going to start that way. And if I can do more, I might up it to 2 a week. But the plan right now is to just see how that works out. And then people can watch them on weekends. And then on Mondays, I want to do another type of video where maybe I just teach people how to edit the way I edit my Instagram clips, maybe in a sense of like how I set up on a tripod and film, just because I get so many people, like friends, asking me like, hey, how do you do this? And I already pull up my computer and screen record it, and I'm like, I might as well just like make a video. I can just be like, this is what I do here.
Okay, interesting. That'll actually open the doors up to a lot of a broader audience too.
So my thought was that there's kind of these two camps in wakeboarding. There's the core and kind of the mainstream, right? We all kind of are familiar with that. And obviously the YouTube will be kind of targeted more at the mainstream, and the Instagram will become more of like targeted at the core. But then I also think there's the wakeboarders and the non-wakeboarders. And I just am pretty passionate about trying to like grow the sport, I guess. I've got so much out of it. I just want to like, other people share that. Yeah. So there's the people who get into wakeboarding who I want to like keep in wakeboarding and give them something to like look forward to and watch and like, do. And then there's the side of people that maybe don't know wakeboarding that I'm hoping I can reach as well. And my first focus is like the people who are just getting into wakeboarding. But yeah, eventually I'm hoping that I can reach other people. But those Monday videos will just be like anything else. It could be how I do this on editing. It could be something like, we got these, I have a lot already prepared, but we have these like the waterproof headphones. Like I'm going to do a whole thing on like what are the best waterproof headphones to ride with, quality wise, different, maybe some options, because I really love riding with headphones and,
Do you ride with headphones?
What?
You ride with headphones?
Yeah, now I do. Actually, I didn't because OWC plays music in the center, right? Yeah. So I grew up riding with music. I just didn't like when I rode at OWC, and now most cables don't, and it got to the point where I was just kind of like bored just doing laps, like going on one trick and I'm waiting the whole lap and just kind of like waiting. And music's a big thing. It helps me when I like want to try a gap or do something to like pump me up.
100%, but does it throw your balance off having headphones in?
The headphone, so yeah, I'll get into all this in the video, but there's sides of it. But the headphones have a setting where they'll like record the outside noise and play it back in your ear. And so like you can hear the water, you can hear the wind, all of that if you want, or you can turn it off and it'll basically like, it just won't pick it up, but the music's louder that it basically, you don't hear anything around you. And they're in your ear. So it hasn't messed me up one bit ever really. But there is that setting to turn it on, and I turn it off usually just cause like the wind noise is like, it just, you hear it a little bit, like maybe if it was in a GoPro or something, but essentially I find it, I guess, to answer your question, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, and it just depends what I'm doing, what I'm working on, and how I want to ride that day.
I'm pretty interested in one other thing about it. So I've done it before. I've listened to music. So when I was in Hypnotics in Turkey, incredible place, 10 out of 10 for a cable, probably one of my favorites in the world, the whole setup, except the music, and they blare the music, but it's like just music. I personally don't have any taste, or like my taste is different, and it would actually like wreck my buzz as I was going. And like likewise to you, like the music helps you get pumped up or whatever, or chill you out or whatever it is. And so eventually after like 3 days, I was like, screw it. So I just like, at the time I had like wired headphones. I just put my phone like in my wetsuit because it was kind of wintry time. It was like October, and just rode like that because my phones were waterproof, and it was fine. It was good. But I thought, surely even with Bluetooth headphones, can it reach the whole cable?
So this type of headphone, there's two options. There's a Bluetooth option and an MP3 option. The MP3 option you don't need to obviously have your phone with. The Bluetooth option actually has MP3 also. So I use that. I have the Bluetooth option. I don't Bluetooth when I ride. I have playlists. And I actually am going to I'm going to link to another.
So the music stays on the headphone?
Yeah. So I'll link to another video when I make, this is actually going to be one of the first YouTube videos I make. So it's kind of funny we're talking about it now because basically when this comes out, it might be out already. But I'm going to link to a another video that teaches you how to pull playlists off Spotify. So you can just make the playlist on Spotify and download that and upload it onto your headphones. And you can skip through playlists, you can skip through songs, albums, different things.
It's
And
actually
so
smart, yeah.
when I ride, I do MP3. For sure, you can take your phone out and Bluetooth to it, and it would work. When I work out and I skateboard and do those things, I use the same headphones, and I actually use them as AirPods because I can take calls on them. They have a microphone. I can talk on them. And they're essentially, I don't have AirPods. They're essentially my AirPods. But they have built-in MP3 to ride with, and they're great. I love them. And I'm really big into music and headphones. So, like, I mean, I have these ones for editing too that are like, that I love it. Like, I'm just very, I guess, kind of like OCD and like picky about things. So yeah, I just figured I spent a lot of work over the years trying different people's headphones and different things. And so that's why I want to share some of that stuff. Just like maybe people find value out of it. Maybe they don't. And yeah, so just videos like that. And it may turn into other videos like behind the scenes stuff of things we work on, whatever. Monday's just kind of like a more anything else really, just like personal stuff, I guess. And it's gonna be centered around wakeboarding, but like maybe other people are looking for waterproof headphones, or maybe we talk about.
It's good, and it also keeps open that option, which sadly for you happens quite often, which is when you get injured, like you have other things to be doing. But that's actually, instead of talking about that, we should talk like, you're injury free right now?
I'm injured free, yes and no. So it's actually funny because this is going back to what I was about to talk about. Anyways, I have had back issues for years, and I guess it's no surprise since I like bigger gaps. But I have a somewhat of a back issue kind of going on just because of the virus. I was like, I'm gonna go so hard and get so much content and ride all day every day until we get shut down. And like the last day we were open in Orlando, I like couldn't ride. Like I rode and I was just like, it wasn't horrible. I could ride, but it was not fun at all. And I was just like, I'm not gonna keep riding just because this is miserable. But yeah, so I battle this back issue and I have things about it, and I actually get really bad cable elbow too. I kind of am always, I feel like, dealing with those things because I love riding so much. I just like go until it's like I'm hurting basically. But I'm not battling like a more serious injury. Like I've had like 4 or 5 this year with like broken bones or different things like that. So I'm injury free in that sense. But yeah, I want to share things I've done for, like, I figured out pretty well how to fix cable elbow and stuff after talking to like 10 or 12 doctors and stuff, and different things. So that's other things I want to share on YouTube. But yeah, it will help when I'm hurt to have something else to do.
Exactly. And what about, like, this is just a really weird one, but have you tried this for your back? This is Dave's doctor tutorial. No, so I try playing around with stances, like I'm sure you know, I was doing a little bit with you. But when I go skinnier stance, my back gets sore. And I also have some small back issues as well. But yeah, my back, like when I would go skinny stance, just hurts so much. So when I let it out, it's actually quite a weird thing. You know this, but very few people know this. I don't ride symmetrical on both sides. So I ride like one in on one side and all the way in on the other side, which is quite weird. But it's just the perfect balance of like being skinny enough, but also like my back doesn't hurt. Because if I go both in, my back gets sore after like honestly like a day of riding. I'm in bits.
It's funny because people think like, oh, I need to be all the way in, or like they need to be the same on both feet, and they like, I actually don't think. Also, I think it's fine to ride like one in and 2 in or whatever, you know. But yeah, I agree with you. When you're wider stance, your knees hurt. When you're skinnier stance, your hips hurt, or it turns into your lower back, but it causes hip issues that hurt your lower back. So for sure, it's funny. People always think like, oh, just do this, it'll like fix that issue, or it's better for your knees. But in the end, the impact and the pressure goes somewhere. So you can't get away, in my opinion, without doing some sort of like body maintenance, like at an older age. When you're 18 or 16, do whatever you want. But like, I mean, at some point you have to be healthy. 25.
25, yeah. You feel like I'm the same, and it hurts. Like you do. I'm 19. I think was like the tipping point for me. Before I was 19, or even when I was 19, you could do anything. You could take the worst slam and you just go to sleep and you'd be fine the next day, and then it all went south. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to tell because like I just got injuries over the years and they get worse with the injuries. I don't know what's old age and what's just like I'm just messed up anyways.
25 is not old if you think about it, really. Like if you look, Murray's still going. He's not far off double that. I don't know.
No, I genuinely believe, and obviously this is just my like thoughts. Like no, don't take them too seriously. But I believe if you like treat your body right and you eat right and do the stuff like do foam rolling or different things that might help, that you could for sure keep riding until your mid 30s and be doing bigger stuff on a regular basis, not necessarily. And I think if you just look at other sports and like different like people that go through similar, like put stress on their body and can do it to an older age. And I just but
and honestly, genetics I think comes into play. Yeah,
genetics is huge for sure.
Huge. Do you remember, like, obviously you remember him, Dean Smith? Like, what age was he? Maybe like 34 when he retired.
He's a great example. He went to like for sure 30. Leo Sofa 32, and Dean Smith maybe like 30. I don't know as much, maybe 34. But just doing.
But Dean goes so big. No one goes bigger than him. Like I've been on the boat with him, and I've never seen anyone go as big as him. Like hands down, no one. Not Murray, nobody. And he just took it, and he did nothing. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly, but I think he went for like one massage a week. That was all he did. Like that was the only maintenance he did on his body, which is just outrageous.
That's crazy. I did not know that. I assumed. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. He could listen to this and be like, no,
well, who knows? And maybe he just ate good and like that's enough. For sure. You obviously can't just eat Taco Bell every day, all day.
JB does.
Yeah, JB eats all. Me and Dave were talking about that. JB eats so much Taco Bell. Dave stayed with him last time he was in Orlando. He's like, dude, I eat Taco Bell every day or whatever. It was so funny. Like, but
he loves it.
And I love Taco Bell too. I can't eat it more than like one day in a row or something. I just don't feel good after. But
yeah. No,
but anyways, I'm not preaching.
That's not preaching. I mean, you're a professional athlete.
You do you, and that's just what I've been getting more into because I just want to wakeboard longer, and for me, it kind of I needed to do those things, and I do deal with a lot of like lower back pain and stuff. But if eating Taco Bell works, so you just eat Taco Bell, I guess. Yeah, like, everyone's body's different for sure, and you have to figure out what works for you. So.
That's exactly it. It's so true. Oh, I can't wait. Like, this has been like probably the longest I've ever not really wakeboarded. Like I have wakeboarded bits and bobs. I was in Portugal like a month ago or whatever. But like obviously the off season was quite slow in general. And then I was like just about to get ready to, like obviously going to America in like 2 days. And then now it's just been like slowed down. I'm desperate for it now. It's so, and like the weather today is quite bad, but yesterday was like the nicest day nearly I've ever seen in Ireland. And I was like, this would be perfect to go to the cable.
This is by far the best time of the year. And you come every April. You're supposed to be here like this week, 2 days. But this is the best time of the year in Orlando. It's so hard sitting inside and like looking at it being good outside. And I've actually started riding boat because I'm like, man, I just have to do something,
Yeah, I've seen a few clips from Toso Wake to Wakes and that.
Yeah, you'll see more on Monday. Tomorrow there's going to be another one, and there's going to be a couple more. But nothing amazing. I mean, I just want to get on a board, and it's kind of been my like kick this year, I guess. Like there's just like thing I've been like feeling in. It's just like progress on any board, any way. Like I guess I was so much like I need to do the hardest trick on a wake or whatever, and like now I'm just like progression feels the same. Like I started doing air tricks just because like I got so stoked and I posted it. You can see it like blind judge, like switch blind judge. I got so hyped and like. Yeah. I just genuinely, and that's the same. I started skateboarding again and snowboarding a little and stuff just because I've been more into just like that feeling of like learning something new. And I think it's cool. I think it brings me back to the beginning of why I started, and hopefully other people can see it and get stoked because they can relate because maybe that's where they're at, like just learning more simple things. It doesn't have to be an NBD, never been done for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, it's even it's more relatable than never been done before because most of the time, like your broad audience doesn't, unless like, okay, you're doing like these outrageous gaps, it's difficult to not understand what's going on. But if you're doing like some sort of crazy tech rail hit, like most people don't really know the difference. Like kind of like if you like yourself. I film with some people who have never filmed before, and let's say I'm on the boat and I'm trying to do like, I'll just say a toe back 9, for example, and like I'll just do like toe back 7, toe back 7, toe back, and they like every time they think I've landed it, and they're like, yeah, and then I'm like, no, it's not that, we didn't get it. So like that's the thing, is your broader audience doesn't know the really tech stuff. So anything where someone's stoked, they're pretty happy to see.
Yeah, I mean, and for sure, it's just kind of like, why not focus on, like, why not kind of do both at the same time, I guess, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I was just getting so caught up in like, and I think we all can go through this, like when you start feeling more pressure from sponsors or whatever, you can get so caught up in like doing your job and it becoming a job, and it's just like, just keep it fun, and
Yeah.
and yeah, people do relate and they like that, and I think that's cool too. And so I still want to do, like, for sure I'm not letting go of the big gaps. Like there's some stuff I really want to do, and now I feel like I just got to a point where like I can see something and know how it's gonna work out, or like better understand. Before it was just kind of like, well, let's send it and see what happens, I guess, But and so I want to do more of that, but I want to balance it with just keep things fun and just remember why we all wakeboard in the first place.
Yeah. What's that place? West Rock. Like, look, obviously you've done quite a lot there, and I've spoke to the guys there. It looks insane. But what is it as good as you thought, or like what's the kind of buzz there?
Well, I went at the beginning of it opening. I got lucky. I don't know. Actually, the whole story is I went to a concert festival, and yeah, I'm really big into music, so I went to this like festival thing in Chicago, and it just so happened that West Rock was like just built the cable, but it wasn't open. It was in October, so it's like they weren't really opening until May. And I actually got to go at the beginning, not really knowing what it was, and it blew my mind the first time I went, like, because I was expecting just like some random cable opening up, like whatever, basic. And it was just so well thought out. The layout of the cable shape, and this is the best thing. It's actually on their logo. It's like the hexagon, like the cable shape. Every side is pretty much the same length, and the corners are pretty mellow. There's features on every side, so the feel is an endless line. There's no like, oh, I ride this straight and I wait, and then I ride that straight and then I wait. Or whatever. There's no like air trick section, I guess, where you're just kind of like, it doesn't feel like a beginning and end. It just feels like a continuous, endless like layout of rail, which is crazy because it's a lot to do with the cable shape, and it was intentional, and you definitely notice that. And then the features as well. They went on a smaller side, which is pretty cool because a lot of parks seem to want to get the biggest, most impressive like one-off feature, which is fun for a little bit. But it can get boring, I guess, like if it's your home park or something. And this is also just something that like any skills level can appreciate because it's a bunch of smaller, jibbier rails. And it's more about like linking them up and doing lines, which obviously there's other parks newer that I also really love that have these big, amazing, fun features. But it's just such a cool thing because anyone can go there and just like try to do almost like you would do like a contest run, but just like tricks, you just try to do your tricks back to back on new features in a line that's not honestly that intimidating of a park. And so it's kind of like such a fun spin on riding that I hope more parks follow suit and build more designs like that because it's just really something different that you can't experience at other parks, even if they have the same features.
I really, really want to go. It looks unreal. Like so good. I was actually there and I didn't go, which I like in hindsight now. And the time it just didn't work with timings and stuff because I was literally in Chicago for I think maybe 3 days in total. And 2.5 of those were for an event, and I wanted to go on the way back, but I didn't.
Wait, one more thing. Yeah, not to mention that the best thing about it is that the owner, Daniel Jarrett, that I think you might have said you messaged him or something.
Yeah, I spoke to him a bit. I think on voice message as well.
He is just the nicest guy who just like wants to promote the sport and like creates a culture there. And he's really big on that, like who he hires and everything. That's just like the best atmosphere. Like,
but that is the number one thing to make a cable good, I think.
Yeah, and I've been to cables where it's just like guys just like think they're cool because they're like the best local dude or whatever, and just like talk
Yeah.
like they're too cool for the Groms or whatever, that sort of thing. But it's
Yeah.
just like a fun atmosphere that you can't happen. You can't help but have a good time, like no matter what's going on there. So it's
Yeah.
it's
Sick. And what do you reckon's going to happen now this year for you and like all the travel contests, things like that? What way is
well,
that going to
now
go? Or do you know?
everything's up in the air now, obviously. As far as contest goes, there's still something I love to do. And I'm just a competitive person. So I will always try to go to Munich Mash if I can, if I get invited or I'm lucky
I hope
enough.
that happens. Yeah.
Such an amazing event. And it got moved. It was scheduled in August this year instead of June. So
So
it's a
there's
lot
more
more
hope.
likely. It's a lot more likely, yeah. Plastic Playgrounds is just like one I love, and just seeing all the riders because everyone goes. So that's a fun one to hang out with. So I'll probably go to those all the time. And for sure the events in America, because I guess I guess to answer this as a whole, my plan right now this year is kind of to like try to focus on growing the culture, I guess, in Florida, and like 3 new parks opened, and hoping that we can do more like things between all the parks and work together and like make it so it's kind of like one big wakeboard family in Florida, as opposed to like each park have their own like clique,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and really try to grow the Groms that are coming in, because when parks open, they get like a flood of kids coming, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, there's this new thing around the corner, let me check it out. And so like I want to just try to help grow that, but then at the same time, I want that to then expand to America, I guess, over and like focus on just like this side of growing the sport over here. So I want to go to all the events in America that are happening, like the Liquid Force Pros. I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's my plan now.
Yeah.
And then I have some video projects that I guess I'm a little more passionate always about the video side of things, just because like I never grew up watching snowboard contests or whatever that was.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I still watch BMX videos, and I've never BMX or mountain bike, but I want to
Yeah.
because I watch them, and I guess like that has a lot of influence on me and inspires me. And I even can take that to wakeboarding. So I want to do more creative, but still some creative and some like just raw wakeboarding parts. So this year I have plans to do a couple of those parts, and work on maybe something bigger, and save up some tricks, because I felt like I always needed to put stuff out to like get that new sponsor or whatever. And now I
Yeah.
finally feel like I am in the right place with the right sponsors that I'm like happy about. And it's not like I have making a bunch of money or anything, but I'm just like satisfied with the people I'm working with.
Yeah,
So
and it was a long road for you doing that.
yeah, so I definitely want to like spend time on a video project, because I don't feel the pressure to like impress them. Like I feel like we're on a good page, I guess, and they trust me to also take the time to work on something that maybe lasts longer, or that's just more that I just am more that I don't know how you explain it. Like just a bigger project that you care more about and that you put more into. That is
There's not like a time limit or like or kind of
exactly.
an end goal. Like there's no like ulterior motive with it. It's just like make this sick video and that's it.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna try to work on something like that. So yeah, I do want to. I honestly just love getting with the younger riders and the Groms, and I mean, like honestly,
Be careful how you say that phrase in Ireland. That means something completely different. Never mind. Sorry.
I get what you're saying now, but honestly, dude, it might sound cliche and dumb or whatever, but or like I don't know, maybe I get a little hate for this, or not hate, but it just sounds cliche. But the comments from the people on Instagram and the DMs I get and stuff like mean so much to me, and it's so
Yeah.
motivating. And whoever's watching this, if you follow me, like thank you so much, because it honestly does like mean a lot to me. And it's motivating to see that. And like I said, I was so inspired by other things like YouTube videos and stuff when I was younger, that I just hope that I can like give back what I've got out of the sport, and like the influence those things gave to me and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I want to just keep doing that and meeting those kind of people. Like I just want to go to other cable parks and like meet more riders and stuff. It's so cool when I get to like ride doubles with someone who like follows me, who like like did I just stumble upon a cable park and they're like, yo, I'm like, I follow you on Instagram, and I just love to like hop on doubles with them because it's cool.
And then you make their day as well, like, or their year nearly.
Yeah, and it gets me just like, again, man, it's so easy for it to fall into feeling like a job, and especially with like how much I try to do, I guess, like that it's just cool to like, I honestly get stoked when they get stoked and when they
and that's what I was going to say to you earlier when you were talking about the coaching tutorials and stuff, and like, just like if you do that with someone at a cable park, you help them with a trick or you ride doubles and they're stoked, it just becomes scale when you do the YouTube tutorials. Like, it just scales out, and more people are getting back to you being like, I loved the video, or I learned something from it, and you just kind of get that feeling even more. So it's quite a cool thing, actually.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking forward to. Again, that's why I want to do it, and
hopefully we can do it.
I got influence from you as far as the sending the videos and getting coaching. I know many people don't know this, but I called up David when I broke my hand and was like, yo, I don't know what to do. I want to do something like, and get people like, just make use of my time, I guess, while I broke my hand. And so, yeah, that's what he recommended, asking you, like, the followers what they want to see, which I did. And then also doing, like, I started what David used to do, or I don't know if he still do it, but like where people could DM me and ask me about tricks and get tips and stuff. And that was so cool to have that. And man, I just spaced. I don't know where I was going.
No, it's fine. But you're saying, like, but when you get that person who, and let's say they send you a trick on Instagram, and you help them, you just give them like a tip, which it's second nature. Like, and you can probably do the same. Like, I don't even have to pay attention sometimes. Like 9 out of 10 times, when someone asks me for a tip, whether it's like a video on the phone or I'm at the cable or I'm on a boat, and I literally just go on autopilot. Like, I know what it is. It's so natural, and it's literally nothing for you. Like, it's a tiny bit of your time to reply. But like for them, it's like so just like anything. Like, if you were imagine you're learning, I don't know, how to do something with skating now, and then imagine like Nigel Houston just messaged you, giving you a tip. You'd be like, what the hell? Like, that is so cool.
Well, realistically, like I was really fortunate to grow up in Orlando and have guys like Julian Cohen at my cable park. And I got those people like that I could just straight up ask them, and they were super nice about it. And would give me all the advice. And now Julian became one of my best friends. But I like you said, it's that easy. I literally just click and voice record, and I'm just like,
that's what I do as well.
Standing on the dock. And some kids just like aren't fortunate enough to have had that person at their cable park to tell them those things.
Well, most of them don't. None of them here really do. And like, we have good riders, like really, really good riders, but we don't have that like top tier pro. But and like you said, a voice message, you can only send a 59-second voice message on Instagram. So like, being honest, I rarely go over one voice message. So it literally takes me a minute. And so I try and do it Tuesdays. I don't do it every Tuesday. Sometimes I quite honestly forget. I didn't do it last week, for example, but then I'll do it tomorrow. So usually what I do is I put it out on Monday. I'm like, send in tricks, and then for the next 24, because it can be fiddly, being honest, if people just send it throughout the week, and there's so many other DMs that come in and so much sometimes crap that comes in as well, that it's hard to like do it there. But if like, that's what I like to do, all in one go. And then I literally I might get like 50 to 100, and I'll just sit down for like an hour and a half, do it, and then I've helped, and then I've done that, and it's just easiest that way, because I'm also in the mindset of it, because it's just easier than jumping in and out. Like, imagine going down to a supermarket and then like coming back and then doing it and then going, like, I don't know. Yeah. I like to do like one thing all in and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I call that batching, I guess. I didn't come up with the term, but like when you're like just like, oh, I'm just gonna do all this at one time, get it done, and whatever. Like, I do it with my Instagram videos. Like, as of now, I mean, I still have posts because I did that like before the quarantine. I just filmed a bunch of videos and made them all, went through them all, or whatever, in like a few days, and then like we'll be able to post them slowly over time. And so I like to do it that way too, and I think it's a lot more efficient. Like, it just gets things done.
100%, because once you get into it, like, sometimes starting is the hardest, like particularly with editing and stuff like that. Like, you're like, okay, I better do that, but once you're in it, it's actually quick and enjoyable. But yeah, anyway, I won't keep you too much longer, because it's been good. It's been insightful. I'm sure hopefully people really like listening to it. I have no doubt they did. Question: when is your YouTube channel going live? Because I could link it now.
Well, I'm working right now this week on like, I don't know much about the background, like making the actual channel look good and like that sort of thing. But
Don't stress on that. Being honest, content is like 99% of it, and then the rest is like.
First of my old edits, I'm gonna do like a throwback series like coming up while we're in the quarantine and stuff. Those are gonna drop Thursday. I don't know when so this Thursday coming up is like the first, and it's only one video is when I wasn't a pro. All of the others I was like pro, however you define it, and at least at that level of writing. And so the first video is like as like Grammy, I guess, or whatever. And then after that, it'll be just like those videos once a week, just to get them on YouTube, and hopefully people like them. I want to start the other videos this week or next week, of like the Monday ones, and the Wakeboard Bible. I'm really just working. I want it to be like higher quality, I guess, and like last a while, and like have good audio and have good a good intro and stuff. And so I don't want to re-upload videos. So I filmed a couple, and I'm gonna make an intro for that I can put onto each one, almost like a TV show. Has a little like
JB has one on his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
I don't know if you see. You don't watch JB's videos? No, I don't. The Peacocks have one too.
I actually watch JB's videos. I watch all you guys' videos. The Peacocks is the one I was thinking of. I can't think of JB's off the top of my head.
JB has that one. It's like doom, 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 and he's like sliding along the concrete wall, and then I don't know. I'm not describing it very well. You can watch it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. But if you guys do, I'm gonna have two. I'm gonna have one just for the Wakeboard Bible, like, and I still debated like doing them on 2 different accounts, but I was just kind of like, whatever. They're gonna be organized through like playlists, so it's gonna be like chapter 1, introduction, like whatever. So it's easy to sort through them. And then the other videos will have like a different, just like my own. It's more like my own personal YouTube, and then the Wakeboard Bible being its own thing. And so they're gonna have different intros, but. I should start uploading like the Monday ones fairly soon, but either way, there will be weekly uploads at least for the next 3 months of the older edits, which are like just raw wakeboard edits. So like,
people like that.
Yeah, hopefully people are into that. And then in really soon there will be the Monday videos, and then the Wakeboard Bible. I'm actually not gonna make the intro for that one because I want it to just kind of like I have a specific idea for it. So I think Ryan Peacock's gonna make it because he's insane.
Yeah, he's sick.
And I want some like kind of like virtual effect sort of things going on. And you'll see if it works out when it comes out. But so that will be probably mainly whenever he gets around to it. But I think because of the quarantine, we all have a lot of time. So
that's it. Yeah.
So yeah, that one might be a little bit slower. It's just a bigger project. And again, I wanted to make it like it's like this DVD series, thing.
Yeah.
That,
what I will say is like once you know you can like you're like I know earlier you were saying you want to make sure that you can fully commit, but once you do know you can fully do it, there's nothing like just starting and doing the first one, because just like new tricks, and you were saying earlier when people message you and they're like, that's sick. And then it kind of pushes you to do more tricks and to do more things. It's the same with YouTube, and it'll make you accountable. And I think for sure, like one of the best things for me is being held accountable to like upload as much as you can. And it's interesting actually. I've wanted to do like this podcast thing for years, but I've always been kind of like, it's gonna look so wrong on YouTube, but it makes sense to start on YouTube and then do the other platforms and all this. And now it's kind of just almost forced me because I can't go ride at the moment. I can't travel more than 2 kilometers. So I really have no choice. And I now doing it, I really enjoying doing it. And so maybe, but yeah, anyway, basically I'm saying just start. That's what I would say. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, because I know you have that brain.
But I will say I have, some videos uploaded, and on Thursday I'm going to start making them public over time. And it will be like weekly, like a little throwback Thursday thing going on for a little bit. So yeah, I guess you can check that out whenever, and check out my other edits that are like, there are some things on there, obviously, like my edits the last 2 years, my season recap, crash reels, which people love. So for sure, people can check that out now and, subscribe if they want, because there will be more wakeboard content soon. But
okay, sick. Well, I will make sure to link all that. Thank you so much for your time. You've been a gentleman, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I'm stoked to have done this and catch up. And it sucks we couldn't actually be together this week. Just
I
like
know. We
having
could have done
enough
this in real
time.
life.
I know it would have been sick, but it's been cool to talk to you and see you also. So it's like good catching up, and hopefully people liked it.
You.